So in summary of that key point, the key to collaborative groups lies in accountability. Then we go to guided instruction. While modeling and collaborative work provide a great start, some learners will require guided instruction to successfully assume responsibility for their own learning. Guided instruction is the strategic use of cues, prompts, or questions to facilitate student thinking. Teachers should base guided instruction on what formative assessments reveal that students need. Such instruction is most effective in small groups. In working with a group of students who did not understand photosynthesis, a teacher might use a series of questions and prompts to increase understanding. For example, some of you thought that plants ate soil to grow. Do you remember the video we saw about photosynthesis? What role did soil play in that video? So a child might say, well, it wasn't about the dirt, it was about sun and carbon dioxide. And how the plants make oxygen for humans. Do plants make oxygen for humans? Well, I guess they'd make oxygen even if there were no humans. And then another student says, well, it's called a byproduct. They don't make oxygen for humans, they just make oxygen. So the teacher says, what's left once they've made this oxygen? A student says, carbon. They take in carbon dioxide and give off oxygen, so the carbon is left. And what do you know about carbon? See, that's, again, another guiding question. So guided instruction gives teachers an opportunity to engage students' thinking without telling them what to think, and a chance to scaffold students' understanding before they complete tasks independently. What we're trying to do is take the student from being a competent novice to becoming an expert. So, newly or barely learned tasks do not make for good independent learning activities. A newly or barely learned task does not make for good independent learning activities. Unfortunately, educators often ask students to assume full responsibility for their learning prematurely in the instruction cycle. They did a survey where 26% of secondary teachers often confess that they often assign homework because they run out of time in class to cover the material. The likelihood of a student successfully completing newly introduced tasks alone, away from fellow learners or the teacher, is slim. Teachers should reserve independent work for review and reinforcement of concepts that would have been previously taught. This phase of the instructional framework is ideal for the spiral review that most educators know their students need. In addition, it helps build connections between previously learned concepts and new ones. For example, if an independent learning task to review, let's say, the phases of the moon, coincides with new instruction on the movement of planets around the sun, the task will not only reinforce the student's knowledge of the moon phases, but will deepen their understanding of patterns of movement in the sky and how planets influence each other. Well-structured independent learning tasks are the ultimate way to build self-esteem through competence. By the time a student has reached this phase, he or she should be working on the level of a competent novice. The purpose of additional work is to refine skills and become expert. Isn't this how many of us learn to be good teachers? This article first appeared in Educational Leadership, November 2008, Douglas Fisher and Nancy Fry.